this is a career highlight to be able to spend time with Manny. I've been in business 20 years. The reputation is just remarkable, and it's just an honor on every possible level. And thank you. I mean,
it's unwarranted.
So unwarranted. 60 years of working on Broadway. You've worked with all the legends. You've seen the good times. You've seen the bad times. And I know you speak highly. You care deeply about the industry. And Manny and I, in preparation of this, spent a couple hours, actually 6 to 8 hours. Once you start talking to Manny, you just get lost in it in such a remarkable way. And as we were talking, I was just writing down quotes. And I just want to go, if it's cool with you, I want to go through some of those quotes to get some context of it. But the one that I almost fell down when I read it, when you said it to me, was, I don't find it tragic, but rather sad that something so good is being eroded. Speaking of Broadway.
Okay, well, let me do it statistically first, and then we can do it emotionally. 100 years ago on Broadway, there were 270 openings each year. There were 90 theaters. In the Great Depression, there were even then 190 openings, and now there are 35. There were 90 theaters, yes, and there are 35 theaters, and there are 35 openings. That's a trip downward. The quality of the shows, if you look back in those days, there were Rodgers and Hammerstein and Kern and George Gershwin, Rodgers and Hart. And then there was another heyday after the Second World War of Lerner and Loewe and Bach and Harnick and Kander and Ebb. And who do we have now? We have fewer people. The young writers and the young talents are in California. You guys are watching your computers, and we're all watching Netflix at night. And we've outpriced ourselves by having tickets for $250 and $500.
Can we pause
You know, when Chorus Line opened, which some of you may have been around, the top ticket price was $15. $15, that's not a joke. And now it's $250 to $500. We've chased away an audience, and we've chased away the talent. I'm waiting for him to give me one question.
Let me build off this.
I made a list.
No, let me build off this. No, this is, and this is unscripted, mind you. You can see this is like such a joy to me. And this is about what's the best Broadway could be. And Manny agreed. Manny doesn't normally do this. He agreed to do this because he knew who was in the audience. And we talked about the future generation, which is, I know, I'm speaking for you, but I know it's very important that the younger generation hears this. And here's the perspective of 60 years of really where this business has been. You said, we have an economic structure that's lost its way with the fundamental question of what is fair.
Okay, I'll do that as quickly as I can. One, the practicality in the theater is that the theater owners hate the unions hate the producers, and the producers hate the theater owners. And none of them get their way, and they all take it out on the customer. That's how the unions get more money, that's how the theater gets more money, and that's how the producers get more money. And the price goes up. In the 80s, I turned to the well-known Schubert people and said, you can't solve every one of our economic problems by raising the price. And Bernie Jacobs, whom I really liked, said, when it becomes a real issue, I'll be dead. And that was our answer to all of our problems, is raise the ticket price. Those are the economics. About what is fair, it'll make it anecdotal. A few years ago, 20 years ago, we did a play called The Iceman Cometh. O'Neill, 26 actors, and tragically, but he was a great actor, was Kevin Spacey, and Tony Danza, Katie Finneran, Paul Giamatti, Robert Sean Leonard, 26 actors who were willing to do an O'Neill play that hadn't been done forever, and everybody worked for minimum. We took one ad, and the show sold out. So we had a meeting about what do we do with the money. Of course, there was a joke about we'll keep it. And that was not good because these people are my friends and they would have killed me, literally. The ultimate answer was the estate got $300,000 because they gave me the rights for next to nothing. Kevin Spacey, who caused the whole thing to happen, got $450,000. He said, I don't want it. I said, give it away. The director got $175,000, and the actors tripled their salary, plus 5% of the profit divided with the stage managers included. You want to know what's fair? That's a prototype for what is fair. If you have a success, it should be shared.
Yes.
The reverse is true. If you have a failure, it should be shared.
Yeah. So let's build, and by the way, I have 15 minutes. You can imagine all the follow-up questions you want to ask to that, because I do. This is why we'll find them in the lobby after talk. Let me go to my second point, because it builds on what you're saying. This is another quote from, these are a couple quotes merged into one. We don't have an agreed upon criteria for quality. The value in aesthetics and taste have been devalued. The resume of your soul as an actor used to be to do a great play by a great playwright. Broadway is turning into a theme park, and theme park shows chase away the artists. Now, before we go further on that, it's very important to say that also, you talked about the talent. There is remarkable talent on Broadway right now that we're not even able to see half the time we're in the theater community. So, but this point, we kept going back to in our conversations that Broadway's turned into a theme park. Theme parks are shows that chase away the artists.
Okay. Tell me what great artist came out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and King Kong. Tarzan, Little Mermaid. But great artists come out of great plays. I kept this note because I really wanted to give it to you.
We had a very colorful lunches. He was
And we have to get to an affirmative conclusion, because this is all negative. Here are the people in my time who started in the theater, started on Broadway, and left. Some came back on occasion. Marlon Brando, Paul Newman, Meryl Streep, Dustin Hoffman, Bobby Duvall, Peter O'Toole, Albert Finney, Barbra Streisand, Gene Hackman, Julie Harris, Annette Bening, Alan Bates, Robert Redford. You want any more? What happened? We lost our cachet. Money. But the theater has to be the queen of the arts. It has to mean something. The plays have to be meaningful. And it has to be an honor to be there, which existed for many years. You know the opening line and chorus line that says, any Broadway shows? As if that was the criteria. Well, we have to get back to that. The theater has to get back to that. The theme park issues, it's just too apparent. The plays that I did in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s toured America. We had a successful play, and even the serious ones, Master Harold and the Boys, The Real Thing, the Stop Art play, they played America. No play tours America anymore, with one exception, Kill a Mockingbird. And it plays in 2,000-seat auditorium. No play should play in that bigger place. That's what's happened. Since we don't have a lot of time, the affirmation.
Let's do it.
Is it's your generation. Something has to change. And either it'll be, the managements won't do it. The unions won't do it. But if Meryl Streep and Lin-Manuel Miranda went to the governor and said, this isn't working. Give us 3 theaters on 18th Street instead of all the Hudson shit that's over there. Under different conditions where people get paid a decent wage and the money is shared fairly. There's a little bit of socialism involved in it, but that shouldn't be a dirty word. And a study being done about what the abuses are. And maybe they hire a commissioner instead of whatever we have now. Every baseball league, football league, basketball league has a commissioner to keep it organized. And maybe we need a commissioner, and maybe we need a study to show you what the producers' abuses are, what the theater owners' abuses are, what the unions' abuses are, and nobody contains them. So the answer is the quality goes down. We're a theme park because we charge so much money. Half these shows should be in Orlando. And it has to be accessible financially. When I was a kid in the Bronx, I went to the theater for $1.10. And on Saturday night, on a heavy day, we sat in the first row of the balcony for $2.20. It was accessible. And the last thing I'll tell you, because we don't have the time, is if you really want to change the diversity, then Broadway should provide once a month, every show, for nothing. All the unions for nothing. So all the high school kids in the metropolitan area for the next 15 years. And then maybe you'll have a diverse audience. Tom Stoppard, a great playwright, said you have to become an initiate. The door has to open. Nobody knows about the theater if you live on 174th Street in the Bronx. Somebody opens the door and you go, hey, maybe there's a place for me.
Yeah. Thank you. So